What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on Yahoo with a 10-team half PPR mock where we will be selecting from the third overall position. Should be pretty interesting. And while we wait for this thing to kick off, a quick reminder, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section your thoughts along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's get into it. The first pick has been made. It is Justin Jefferson. And I actually believe that these rankings have been updated a little bit because I believe before Jamar Chase was a little bit higher. And then my litmus test is always where Joe Mixon is ranked, especially on Yahoo. And I will show you guys that in a little bit. But in the meantime, look, I'm going with a running back here. I'm going to go with Austin Eckler. Even if you believe that Justin Jefferson should be a top 3 pick, I'm hard-pressed to include another wide receiver in those top 3 selections. So I go with my 1B to the 1A top overall running back, Austin Eckler to Christian McCaffrey. But before I did mention the rankings possibly haven't been updated, and I do believe that is the case because Joe Mixon here ranks all the way up now to 31. He was much, much lower on the Yahoo rankings the last time we looked at a Yahoo mock draft. So, yeah, platform rankings are slowly being updated. We saw it with ESPN's rankings the other day, and the other platforms will follow. There might be one final update between now and the start of the season, but you know, it's always fascinating to me how these things change the scope of drafts. So that's why we're going to get some extra experience here with the slightly updated rankings. Now, after the first 2 picks of Jefferson, McCaffrey, went with Austin Eckler. Then the first round so far, Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce, getting that premium position of tight end, the positional advantage, 5th overall. You know, I personally don't like investing in tight end that early, but, you know, Travis Kelce wouldn't have made it to that individual back in the second round. And if they can construct a good roster overall surrounding Kelce, then, you know, it's tough to fault it. Bijan Robinson afterwards, followed by Nick Chubb. I like to see Nick Chubb getting some love. You know, depending on the size of your league, depending on the scoring format, Nick Chubb could be a second-round selection. In those cases, I think he's an absolute steal. Then Cooper Kupp, Saquon Barkley with the 9th pick overall, and then Jonathan Taylor with the 10th pick. So interesting, only 3 wide receivers in the first round. Personally, that's how I would have it as well. Specifically in 10-team leagues, you know, in a 12-team league, you could argue maybe a Tyreek, a Devontae Adams, something like that sneaking in. But yeah, I think 3 is the magic number for wide receivers going in the first round, especially when you have guys like McCaffrey, Eckler, Bijan, Chubb, Saquon Barkley. You know, Jonathan Taylor is tough because you never know with him and what his current situation is going to look like, you know, a couple weeks from now. I'm really hoping that it gets worked out for the sake of all my Jonathan Taylor dynasty shares. But who knows? You know, the Colts did host Kareem Hunt. What looked like to be a done deal with Hunt and the New Orleans Saints kind of got extended. So TBD there. The second round has kicked off, though, and the first couple of picks are Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs. So the top overall wide receivers are now going off the board. I think Devontae Adams, you know, Tony Pollard are going to be the next kind of guys up. So far, I have an inclination of who I'm hoping falls to me, or, you know, I'm crossing my fingers, as they say. But maybe we get lucky and there's a quarterback run, which I think would be very silly. I say that all the time, but that seems like it's more of a thing that happens on ESPN. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll see, you know, Patrick Mahomes being drafted immediately after I say that here in the second round of this draft. But yeah, I'm not pulling the trigger on a second round quarterback or even probably a third round quarterback, if I had to be honest with you guys. But right now, we're in a decent spot. Go figure. As soon as I say that, Patrick Mahomes gets drafted 16th overall. All right, folks, do what you got to do. Do your thing. I'm going to benefit by pairing Austin Eckler with either CeeDee Lamb or Devontae Adams. Are you kidding me? That is incredible. I was hoping for Devontae Adams. Unfortunately, he got drafted right before we got a chance to select him. That's all right. I think there's a lot of good options here. I'm looking at CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I really like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I doubt he makes it back to me, but hey, let's roll the dice. Let's just take the highest ranked overall wide receiver. I don't think we could have gone wrong with either CeeDee, Amon-Ra, or Garrett Wilson. I went with CeeDee Lamb just to play the odds of maybe Garrett or Amon-Ra falling to us. And of course, it's not going to happen. The last two picks were Amon-Ra and then Garrett Wilson. So, okay, it is what it is. We don't get quite that lucky, but, we can potentially go with a Jalen Waddle. He, you see the questionable mark next to him, but it doesn't seem too serious, day-to-day type of situation. So I'm not horribly worried about Jalen Waddle. I'm trying to see if there's any running backs that are like must own at this point in time. Not in my opinion. So let's go wide receiver and let's go with Jalen Waddle. Another great pick would have been Chris Olave. I've said that before. But I went with Jalen Waddle here, mixing things up a little bit. And, seeing how this remaining third round takes place. I think Chris Olave maybe is a little bit higher on the rankings as well. I don't quite have his ADP memorized. But, okay, so this is going to be an interesting litmus test right here. Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, going 3 pass catchers to kick things off. The person that got Travis Kelce, okay, now it makes sense why Patrick Mahomes won in the second round. You're getting the Kansas City stack of Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. Whether that's a, Kansas City fan right there, I don't know. Or they just wanted to make sure they got the stack. But either way, there has been no other quarterback selected so far. So the takeaway message is you could have had Patrick Mahomes in the third round. You could have had Devontae Adams, you could have had Devontae Adams and Travis Etienne, for example. I think that's a much, much better situation. But hey, what do I know, right? I've only been doing this for what feels like forever. But in this third round, yeah, we mentioned it, Garrett Wilson, Najee Harris, Jalen Waddle. There's a lot of running backs here, I feel like that are tough to feel out. Guys like a Najee Harris, Breece Hall. Personally, he's on my do not draft list coming off the ACL. I'm perfectly fine being wrong about him. Travis Etienne or Ramondre Stevenson. Do the Patriots add anyone else? Who knows? So that's an interesting situation there. There's still a couple of big name running backs that have not been signed. Guys like Zeke, guys like Fournette, guys like Kareem Hunt. Where will they go? Dalvin Cook as well. All very, very interesting situations. So we're getting really lucky here. A couple players that I'm not as high on are being drafted. Aaron Jones, Mark Andrews, DK Metcalf, the quarterbacks in Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. So that's going to set us up for a good situation. I really, really do believe that here. So let's see what we're looking at. I'm taking a look at the running backs, and I'm a fan of Miles Sanders. I'm a fan of some of these other guys, but Miles Sanders is the guy that I'm highest on. I'm looking at wide receivers. I really like Keenan. I really like Calvin Ridley. I think considering what these other guys have done, there's a decent chance that one of them falls to me. So I'm just going to take Miles Sanders here. Get our second running back. I've already got CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, and I think I can get either Calvin Ridley or Keenan Allen. I might be wrong, who knows, but oh my God. So Calvin Ridley just went here. What this guy is doing, I don't know, so we might get sniped, who knows. Calvin Ridley went 4 wide receivers and then Alexander Madison. That's interesting. Joe Burrow just went. Wow. Okay. I think we get super, super lucky. So we're going to end up with, I'm looking at the names, but yeah, I got to go Keenan Allen here. I don't care if I'm getting Eckler and Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen by far right now. I mean, we're in the 5th round, folks. He is an absolute steal. We have him as our flex wide receiver. Feel really good about that. Was it tempting to maybe go with another running back to get depth there? Yes, but I think we're going to be surprised by, what guys here might fall to us in the 6th round. If we're really, really lucky, it'll be James Conner. Alvin Kamara, I'm pumping the brakes on a little bit because I have no idea what the hell is going on. If they add Kareem Hunt, that's really going to, pour some cold water on the situation because I think they have very similar skill sets. And if they both end up in New Orleans, I don't know what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara long term. I do think he's still the most talented running back on that team. But, it's just kind of too many cooks in the kitchen type of situation. Alexander Madison, Joe Burrow, just recapping the 5th round. We went Keenan Allen, then Kenneth Walker went, Debo, Tyler Lockett, and then now we are waiting here for the next selection. I would have liked Calvin Ridley. Definitely, I think he would have been a very solid choice as well. I would say he has higher upside than Keenan Allen, but Keenan Allen, not a bad consolation prize at all. So I like what we're looking at. I like the way this thing is shaping up. I think that we are on our way to, a pretty decent draft grade, at least in my opinion. I think the first 5 picks so far have been pretty legit. George Kittle just went a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping I could snag him, but wasn't meant to be. That's okay. Looking at other names here, let's kind of take a look at it because we're going to be up on the clock soon. James Conner, probably going to be the choice here if he's still there. Dallas Goedert just went. I'm looking at James Conner, and I'm kind of focusing in on him. If he's not there, then what are our other choices at running back? Of course, we get sniped on James Conner. Go figure. Rachaad White isn't a bad name to consider. Damian Pierce, wide receivers, what are we looking at? DJ Moore is still there. Marquise Brown is somebody that I really like. But I think we can take a tight end here. We can take Kyle Pitts if he's there. Or Darren Waller. We can wait until the next round, And of course, Darren Waller gets selected right here. So I think the decision kind of just got made for us. We're going Kyle Pitts so we can get one of these, hopefully, quote unquote, higher upper echelon tight ends that are still left. So we go with Kyle Pitts. And then we're going to pick up whatever is left in the 7th round. Maybe a quarterback. Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, they can't all be drafted. So I think we might see a quarterback here. Let's see. Actually, there goes Justin Herbert. Okay, Joe Burrow is already selected. Isaiah Pacheco. We're going to go with, who do we go with? I'll switch it up. I'll go with Trevor Lawrence. I think in our last mock, we went with Justin Fields or something like that. I think both are very, very legit. Unfortunately, we don't have a stack here, but it is what it is. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, I think it's very, very close. I'll go with Trevor Lawrence. I have them ranked very closely together. Justin Fields, it's, you draft him for the rushing upside. That's what you draft him for, right? Obviously high upside. But let's see, what round did we get Trevor Lawrence in? Round 7. So right around where we expect to get that quarterback of that range. But Justin Fields should have been drafted earlier. I think you can make the case that he should be drafted right alongside Lamar Jackson, who was drafted in the 4th round. So, if you're looking for high upside rushing quarterbacks, Justin Fields right alongside with Lamar Jackson. The only question mark, right, is do you trust the organization? Do you trust the Bears as much as you trust the Baltimore Ravens? And I would imagine the answer to that question is no. But let's probably draft 1 or 2 more guys and then kind of wrap this thing up because, we've got our starting roster taken care of, right? Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, to me, he's a top 10 guy with top 5 upside if he continues his trajectory. Love the Calvin Ridley addition. CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, I think both, you could argue, top 10 wide receivers. Austin Eckler, top 3 running back. Miles Sanders, I think he legitimately has top 10 running back upside. Kyle Pitts is kind of like, the X factor here. If Kyle Pitts hits and is a top 5 tight end, this is a deep playoff run type of roster. And then Keenan Allen as our flex option. Are you kidding me? That is great, great, great in terms of value. There's guys that I'm hoping for here in terms of names that fall to us. I've mentioned them before. Marquise Brown is one of them. I think that James Cook is also a decent option, right? Just kind of looking at the names. Rachaad White is also still there. James Cook actually ranked rather low here on these rankings. So that's interesting to see. Alvin Kamara is still there. So a lot of big names are actually still on the board. But I'm going to prioritize, if he is there, Marquise Brown. And then, yeah, I mean, we've gotten to the point where we're seeing defenses being drafted. And I think, we've gotten a lot out of this draft up until this point. I don't want to make you guys sit through seeing defenses, kickers, things like that. So we're going to make one final pick. But honestly, I really like this roster. Once we add, some more depth at the running back position, I think it elevates the grade even more so. And right now, I think we're like at a B+ type of situation. Deontay Johnson just got drafted. 3 more picks, Dalvin Cook. And maybe we'll be one step closer to Marquise Brown. Michael Pittman just got drafted. So do we get sniped? Do we get unlucky? We will see. Javonte Williams, no, we're going to get rather lucky. We go with Marquise Brown, 8th round. I think that's tremendous value. And then, we can... Rachaad White just got drafted. David Montgomery, James Cook. Our turn is next. So our decision kind of got made for us. We're probably going to go with Alvin Kamara here if he is available. Even though it's a messy situation in New Orleans, we're getting the depth piece. Hopefully we don't need the break in case of emergency type of situation. But yeah, I like that situation for us. And with that, we kind of wrap this thing up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, along with any other questions you guys might have. I'll do my best to answer them all. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.